This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Throw-Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we toast the Lakewood Springs Homeowners Association of Lakewood Springs, Illinois. With Easter only a few weeks away, April 17th, I believe, it is time for that fine tradition that excites children every year. That's right, we were talking about the Easter egg hunt, friends. Now, sure, they happen every year, and that's why the Lakewood Springs Homeowners Association wanted to remind everyone that the annual event was coming up. So they posted a giant sign on the side of the road, annual egg hunt, free family event, and then they give the date. Well, the problem was this with the sign. You see, if you're not sure how to spell something, sometimes you should ask someone. So what the sign actually says, in spite of what it meant, is, and I quote, anal egg hunt, free family event.
I mean, how does that even work?
It's 2 letters.
I'd be like, kids, we're not going this way.
I think someone took 2 letters off the sign.
Do you think they took it off?
I think they came and took the N and the U off.
I hope they did, because then it's just someone playing a prank as opposed to...
Right.
And it is not a small
It's still
sign.
a good prank.
It is, yeah.
I hope that they really did not misspell that.
The anal egg hunt.
Anal egg hunt.
Mm-hmm. Free family event. So let's drink. We pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The men's room presents Profile This.
And Steve Throw-Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
Oh, I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happens right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Catherine. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola. All right, Catherine, you understand how this here game works?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of 3 stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
Let's do a classic interior decorating.
There you go.
All right, Catherine, I don't mean to disappoint you. It's not in the butt, it's in the urethra. Or as I like to call it, the urethra Franklin. That way I know I'm giving it full respect. Well, a man had something removed from his urethra after a sex act went, quote, horribly wrong. The 55-year-old went to the hospital with bleeding and difficulty peeing 2 months. 2 months after the object got stuck, but he didn't tell doctors what had happened. He was referred to a urologist for further testing, and the unnamed man, he was originally misdiagnosed with urethral stricture, or narrowing of the urethra. The doctors then had difficulty inserting a catheter to help the man pee. The patient denied any history of local trauma, sexually transmitted disease, drug abuse, or foreign body insertion. But that last part was a lie. Scans later revealed a blockage in his urethra. Doctors put a camera up there and discovered that something was lodged in the tissue so high up, it was actually pushing into his bladder. Now, medics were able to pull the object out through the tissue surrounding the urethra, and the man, well, he had to pee through a catheter for 2 weeks. 1 month later, the man was able to pee normally and admitted that he put the object in his penis for, quote, sexual gratification. The question is, what did he put in his urethra Franklin? Was it an olive seed, a pen tip, a Q-tip, or tweezers? So olive seed, pen tip, Q-tip, or tweezers?
Definitely the most unpleasant of those sounds like tweezers. And people are crazy, so I'm going to go with that as my guess.
Catherine goes tweezers. Ted, where are you going?
I think it's a pen top.
Is it a pen top?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Feeling a little freaky? Yeah, let's plug this in.
I think any one of those four scratch that, hey, I'm feeling freaky itch.
I'm going Q-tip.
Q-tip.
Why not?
3 different answers. All right.
I like
Find
it.
out what's up in there. Is it an olive seed, a pin top, a Q-tip, or tweezers next?
That was a tease.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Bro, gnarly. What's up, Taylor? Dude, that nerd in his electric hybrid totally blew the light while texting his yuppie friends.
That's so bogus, bro. Are you hurt?
Yeah, like I can't move my hips, bro. I think I broke my pelvis, man. Dude, no way.
Taylor, you need to drop a dime and talk with the lawyers at the Advocates Law Firm.
No way, can't afford that, bro. Your crotch is broken, man, and they don't earn any money unless they win your case. Dude, no way. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories: interior decorating. On profile, this man had something removed from his urethra 2 months after inserting them in there for sexual pleasure
And denied it.
It was way up in there. Doctors did successfully remove the object. The question is, was it an olive seed, a pin top, a Q-tip, or tweezers?
Now, Catherine, before we get to the answers, I want to explain that this multiple choice here, all of those are things that have, in fact, been inserted into a man's urethra.
All right.
I thought the olive seed was a nice touch, as I have never considered such a thing. But you went with tweezers. Oh, I'm afraid it is not tweezers. Not tweezers. I don't feel bad because there is no good answer. Miles Montgomery, you went with a Q-tip.
I did.
Ooh.
Which, in my opinion, would be the least dangerous of all the available things. Ted, you said to get your freak on, go pen top.
Pen top. There's...
Oh, man.
You are tracking with the freaky man.
Yeah.
You're inside the head of him.
Yeah, man. Sounds like you got the top from his bick.
Now for all TV news all the time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices, you have Bill Maher, The Jimmies,
Fallon and Kimmel,
Seth Meyers, SNL, or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It's right there in the title. All these guys have teams of talented writers that help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joking from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Sports commentator Charles Barkley has been on the set for the NCAA basketball analysis, and his bracket isn't just bad, it's terrible.
The Ted Smith.
Yes.
Did you see his bracket?
No.
Oh, it's bad.
Oh, no.
Well, not a lot of people have good brackets this year.
Yeah, this year. Good God.
No. KFC Australia is launching an 11-course fine dining menu with a wine pairing. Most fine dining meals don't come with a spork.
Fallon.
Weekend update.
Fallon.
KFC Australia is launching an 11-course fine dining menu with a wine pairing. Yeah, most fine dining meals don't come with a spork. You know that?
Chobani Yogurt hired the former CEO of Juul as its new president, which explains their new flavor, Chobani Menthol.
SNL.
Yeah. That's valid.
Hey, I heard that Chobani, Chobani Yogurt, they just hired the former CEO of Juul as its new president. Which explains this new flavor of yogurt I saw, Chobani Menthol. I was like, well, that's interesting. It clears me up.
I get a lot of minty yogurts.
Yeah, it's not a flavor you find in yogurt.
Yeah. NASA is planning another moon mission, and they just rolled out their rocket to their launch pad to prepare for something called a wet dress rehearsal. Even worse, they said that the wet dress rehearsal is to prepare for the moist moon landing.
Myers.
Fallon. That's Fallon.
NASA is planning another moon mission, and they just rolled out their rocket to their launch pad to prepare for something called a wet dress rehearsal. Even worse, they said wet dress rehearsal is prepared for the moist moon landing.
Did you guys watch the basketball over the weekend?
A little bit, yeah. A ton yesterday, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice just to have, like, live sports on the West Coast.
All the time.
Right. And that's what's great. Like, I always forget how much fun it is. Because, like, everything I did this weekend, it was always like, do we have time to sneak in a game? Or you just go to, like, a place where there's a game on.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Basically, look up, and now you're hooked.
That's it, right?
And you don't,
especially during the tournament.
You don't know the teams. You don't.
I just go for the underdog unless I have a rooting interest, which I do not right now. So I just went, whoever the underdog is, go.
Right. Maryland wasn't even close to making the tournament.
Right.
So it's not like I'm watching them, which kind of a bummer. You like to watch your school in there.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm with you. Before you realize it, you're just watching random games. And that's what makes that weekend so much fun. Like, there'll be stuff on this weekend as well, but you just don't have the same volume of games.
No. And I mean, look, I've never rooted for the Miami Hurricanes anything ever. I did yesterday.
All right.
You're the 11th seed? Go get their ass.
Well,
or 9, I don't remember.
It proves how much different the football in college is than basketball. In basketball, anybody has a chance.
It's one game.
It's
right?
not just, we're going to take these power rankings and put together the teams that we believe are the best.
Yeah, you got 64 to start.
You could have an 11th seeded team that went to the whatever.
St. Peter's is one of the top 16
teams. The Duke
teams
Mayonnaise
right
Bowl. You don't know, they might be a better team than one of the seeds that they put up to be, in the college football championships.
Correct. Well, and you're right. It's just, basketball is just a different sport.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've been saying this last week, but like, right, sometimes you just get a team like St. Peter's that's just hot and has a couple of good shooters. Like, you don't know who they are, but they could go on to do great things.
Right. Honest to God.
Yeah. And it's like I was saying last week to somebody, it's like with Davidson. Like, it's very common now to know who Steph Curry is, but we didn't know then. He was just some kid from a small school.
That just heard about him. Right.
Right. That was just crushing stuff. And you're like, holy cow.
And look at him now. Doing Subway ads.
I know, he's doing okay. What's funny, though? As a kid, I always liked Miami football.
Really?
When you grow up Irish Catholic, everybody is Notre Dame fans.
Of course, yeah.
So I just never liked Notre Dame football, and then I liked Miami football. And it was always Catholics versus convicts. Even though I was Catholic, I was like, I'll take the convicts. That's what I'm going with. And they just had more style.
They definitely have style, man. They don't lack for that.
No, not at all. Let's see. This is kind of alarming news. Number one, I didn't know Maury was still on TV.
Thank you. That's the alarming news.
Canceled.
Yeah, it got canceled.
Headline this morning, Maury canceled. I thought,
No, the headline is, Maury has been on the air.
I know.
Byline. Oh, and the show got canceled.
All right, so it's been on for 31 seasons. All right, it started in 1991 as the Maury Povich Show, then became Maury in 1998.
I, honest to God, did not know he was still doing that. I mean, good for him. I truly had no idea.
Neither did I. I feel like that whole, now granted, we're at work during the day, so it's not like we're watching a ton of daytime TV. But
I've heard of the people. I know that Drew Barrymore has a show. I know that Kelly Clarkson has a show. You know what I mean? Like, you're still, whether you watch things, like, I know The Bachelor exists. Somehow, I did not know he was on. I assumed he retired years ago.
I think it's easy to get just lost in the mix of you've got 100 and some channels easy.
That doesn't help, right?
And we don't watch daytime television. So I know he's got to be on one of those. You just don't know what that network is.
Well, that's the thing, too. Those daytime talk shows aren't really for one network. So, like, Maury might be on your CBS affiliate in one town.
Right.
And he might be on the CW on another one, right? Like, it just depends on where you are, what time you're going to see Maury. But, yeah, I thought the Maury thing, like, right, he's most famous for You Are the Father, You Are Not the Father.
Oh, that became his gimmick, man.
Yeah, and there's that famous one of the dude not being the dad, and he's like dancing on the set, just going crazy.
And they always try to one-up the topic, which after a while has to be tedious. Surely there was a lot of repeats of subject matter.
How old do you think Maury Povich is?
I'd say he's in the
75.
He's 83.
Jesus, really?
Yeah.
It's about time he retired.
Yeah, okay. That's a good move, man. Wow.
Yeah, and like, remember, there was just that heyday of like Springer, Maury,
Sally,
Ricky
Jesse,
Lake,
Raphael.
Yeah, Ricky
Who was
Lake.
the other blonde broad? Jenny Jones?
But you also had, did you say Springer? Yeah, you said Springer.
Yeah. Springer.
Yeah.
You had Oprah, who was just kind of the straight shooter, right? And then all the rest always had a little, just a
Well,
part to
Oprah,
it.
too, got like real guests and did stuff like that.
Right.
Her, like, and she gave away presents, but, right, I feel like Maury, especially Springer, was much more of the like,
We did your STD test. We have the answer.
yeah, and it was like dirty.
You are
trash
not the
stuff.
spreader.
Right.
Yeah, but you were fired up to see that stuff.
Oh, it was great during the time, man.
But yeah, Maury had been on there for that long, man. Well, now he's off the air, but still pretty interesting thing to see there. All right, NCIS, right? I always talk about that show, how good it does. It dominates in ratings and this and that. But when I say NCIS, what kind of person are you picturing? Like an NCIS fan?
Like my mom.
Okay, I'm with you.
And your mom.
Yeah.
To be honest with
my
you.
mom loves that show. Well, there's a mystery illness going on the set.
Like in real life.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
But when I first read it, maybe I'm just being an a-hole. My first thought was like, well, yeah, they're old. Who knows? They're just getting sick.
What,
Dementia.
What are the symptoms?
They're not positive yet. 18 people have gotten sick and are suffering from mild symptoms like throwing up. A CBS source said it seemed to be food poisoning. Nothing's been confirmed. They're still in production just right outside L.A.
Okay.
So, I mean, here's the thing, right? It's a TV set, so everybody goes to the same catering department to eat. So if you had something in there that was food poison kind of going around, then it'd be pretty simple that everybody that went and ate lunch that day is going to have food poisoning.
Anyone else pooping a lot?
And if you didn't, and you went to lunch, then you know that that's the culprit.
Right. The one guy that didn't go there is like,
Did you have the chicken or the fish?
Yeah, and dude, look, we've talked about it all the time, right? Like, food poisoning is awful. And if you get it, you know what it is. Like,
yeah.
There's not many things that are as bad as just puking and then having to use the bathroom.
You don't think you're going to die, but you feel like you're going to die.
There's nothing left in your body.
No.
Yeah.
You can't keep anything down.
It's a full evacuation.
As much as you try to drink water.
This is not a drill. All bodily fluids must evacuate now.
You can't eat.
I don't care if it's for a sweat pore, the nose, the mouth, the ass, everything.
Yeah, and then, right, and then you got to worry about dehydration. It's like everything, like you're saying, like every little bit of liquid's getting out of you. So then you chug a Gatorade, and it's like, I'm going to go puke this up.
And as far as the amount of time you have compared to being sick in different ways and throwing up, you have very little time to get to where you need to go.
Oh, yeah.
Typically,
Like,
if you
it's
feel like
go
you're
time.
going to throw
yeah.
up, you can say, hey, I need to go to the bathroom real quick. I don't feel
Right.
right. You can feel the mouth sweats. When you get food poisoning, you've got like 5 seconds to make a pretty quick decision. Where do I go to throw this up?
What is going to be the least offensive for where I am?
That's why if you have it, you put a trash can by the bed with a liner in it.
Let's see. Colin Jost. We all know him from Saturday Night Live. And then remember, he's married to Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
So Scarlett was on the Drew Barrymore show. She asked him, showed an awkward picture of Colin with his mushroom haircut. Said, quote, would high school scar Joe be a thing? Be into high school Colin. Scarlett Johansson was like, I don't think so. Right? That's like, she's just like, no, man, like, we wouldn't have been.
There's no chance.
Like, I like Colin Jost now, but like high school version of him, like, no way.
Everybody had an awkward stage.
I was like, she's straight up about it. Like, oh, we still like, no.
Yeah, and it's also weird, too. Like, pictures, like, everything just goes out of style pretty quick.
That's it.
And I know that haircut. I had it, right, my freshman year, or my second, 8th grade year into my freshman year at high school. I had that haircut. We'd shave it up underneath, part it right down the middle, flop the hair over the side. I went to one practice to put a helmet on, the next morning, I buzzed it all off.
Oh, really? That's all it took?
Yeah. Because up until that point, I never actually worn a football helmet.
Sure.
And just having that much hair in there, I was like, this is gross.
And my brother looks like Huggy Bear. His high school graduation, man, big-ass lamb chops on the side, the afro.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's exactly what everyone looked like. Has not aged well.
No, but exactly. For the times, you're like, well, this is what everybody was rocking. Everybody was super into it. Also, too, like, some people, not only awkward stages, but like, she's Scarlett Johansson. Right. Like, I'm sure when she was in high school, she was probably attractive then, too.
Right.
Whereas, like, college Jost, it's like, man, you got to get older and get into that body, son. Got to look a little bit better.
That's called the backdoor insult. Oh, you'll grow into yourself. That's people's way of saying, right now, you look like ass.
Well, it seems like the older that you get, when you go back to your high school reunions, the people who are good looking, not that there's not a couple that are still good looking, but the people that you didn't really think were that attractive then, they're the ones that became beautiful or good looking later in life.
Yeah, you're right. But also, honestly, like, there's girls I knew from high school age, like, they were smoking hot then to me, and, like, I see them now as adults, so, like, yeah, shocker.
Smoking hot still.
Right, like, she's still attractive.
It's almost more shocking when someone is not as good looking as they were. Mm-hmm. Even though that should be the natural progression.
But no, you're right. I went back to my 20th reunion. It was great.
But there's a difference. Are you less attractive because of age, which is fine, or hard living? You know, you go at your 5-year, like, God damn, dude, it's only been 5 years. Would you go into the future and come back? Jesus Christ. What's going on? Oh, did I say that out loud? My bad.
It is very strange. Yeah. Some people, I think hard living are just, they just got hungry.
A lot.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Oh, fiddlesticks! What, Wilbur? We just got hit and I think my back is all been out of shape.
You gotta talk with those whippersnappers at the Advocates Law Firm. They're the best injury lawyers around.
What? Pipe down, Clarence! Abner's telling me about the lawyers and the advocates. So what happened to you, Abner?
I was walking across the street with the light when some young punk came screeching around the corner. I lost a toe.
What? Shut it, Clarence! If you get injured, the advocates get results.
AdvocatesLaw.com. Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. A California woman is suing a novelty company for sending her a giant chocolate mandingo. Meanwhile, if you think carjacking a marked patrol car with 2 officers inside is stupid, bingo. Florida woman hides in woods and hides her crack pipe and its namesake. Florida mom driving drunk was more than her 9-year-old could possibly take. And California officers are looking for that guy who jumped the Tesla. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
All right, top story, we go to St. Louis, where a man was arrested for attempted carjacking. The story goes that the man approached the car from the passenger side and held the occupants at gunpoint. Didn't take him long to realize that the people in the car were local police officers. What makes matters worse, they were in a fully marked police car. This thing wasn't even one of those undercover, unmarked. No, this thing had the bubble, the words on the side, the bumpers. After realizing that they were cops, the suspect took off on foot and he was quickly arrested. At that point, choose a different profession. You're so doggone bad at this.
Yeah, but even as a cop, like, look, man, we don't want you to walk out and carjack, but we're in a fully marked car.
Right.
In uniform.
It's like walking into an establishment with the intent to rob it and then don't realize it's a bank.
Right.
Crying.
I mean, right. How do you not realize you're getting into a cop car with cops in it?
Exactly.
You gotta be high. Mm-hmm. You gotta be high.
You can't read.
What are these weird bars on the back window? Must be childproofing. Dumbass. In other news, a Florida woman was sold out by an unlikely companion. This one's great. Officers pulled the woman over after she nearly struck him while he was seeing to another matter on the road. When the officer approached the car, she saw the woman's 9-year-old son in the back seat, not wearing his seatbelt and crying. He asked the woman if she'd been drinking, which she denied, but then the son was heard speaking up in the back, telling his mother that she wasn't supposed to lie to the police and that she had indeed been drinking. The woman was taken into custody.
God damn.
Kid wasted no time. Have you been drinking? Oh, no, officer. Mom, don't lie to the police. You were drinking.
Mom, you're hammered. We all know it.
Apparently the kid, he's saying like a canary. He's like, I was scared the entire time when she was driving. Like, jeez, oh whiz. We go to Los Angeles, where the driver of a rented Tesla obviously bought the insurance package. In a video that was shared online from multiple accounts, we see the rented car charging at a particularly steep street that has attracted daredevils in the past. The car eventually meets the sudden downhill shift and goes flying through the air, eventually coming down on the front tires. Police are still on the lookout for the driver.
The video was awesome.
It was awesome.
It is pretty cool.
The only other time I had seen this video was from from a different angle where you actually see a hell of a lot more air that this guy got. But yeah,
it's a rental.
I guess, because I was about to say I don't see the logic, but you're right. It's a rental. At some point, you've paid the insurance package, so you're just going to walk away from it at the end of it.
I mean, it's got to be his thought process, right? Like, screw it, I paid the extra money.
Right.
But it seems like if you video you jump in a car, there might be people like, that's not covered.
Right. Let's see if we can tag the license plate on this thing and see who figured it out.
Don't video it.
Right. That's the other thing at the end of the day here. Can we just all agree that if you're going to do something clearly stupid and against the rules, maybe tell people to put the phones away?
I'm glad they filmed this one then.
I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
I really did. So, there's a benefit for me, but bro, come on.
Right. There's a company that's landed in the crosshairs of an upset politician. The woman is a county supervisor and recently received a bit of unsightly package from a clearly disgruntled constituent. The politician opened the box to find a massive and anatomically spot-on chocolate penis with the label on the inner lid reading, quote, "Eat a D." This apparently set the politician reeling, and she's now suing the company for damages such as lost wages and psychological therapy. We covered this a little bit earlier today. If you're truly this affected by it, why are you going after the company? Why are you not going after the one that sent it to you? The company's just there.
They're fulfilling their obligation.
Right.
If somebody paid for this, they gave an address, they sent it, they're not sending you anthrax.
Right.
They're not sending you a thread. It's a chocolate D in a box.
It's no different than this guy sending you a bag of McDonald's that he decides is just really bad and that you need to
choke on this.
Right. You're not going to sue McDonald's if he sends it to you. Okay.
Are you guys eating the chocolate?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. All right. Bet.
Yes.
Maybe not in front of people, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't be traumatized, but I'm just not positive I would eat the chocolate.
It's still chocolate.
Right. Because it comes from the company. It's not the person who hates it,
Right. And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thanks, sir. We appreciate it. More Men's Room's on the way next with the Men's Room Happy Hour, exclusively on the Odyssey app.
Yes, indeed. It's all true, but in the meantime, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production. Portions of the following program have been pre-recorded.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
this is not a test. Your ears do not deceive you. There is no way out. You are here. She fell out of the sky and with the full force of gravity landed on the rock with a hefty thud. It's Taryn Daly, tearing it up on the rock. 99.9 KISW.
Happy second day of spring, Rockaholics. Of course, it would be a drizzly day, but I am very excited as I look at the forecast and I see we're going to have temperatures around 60 this week. You know I'm going to go crazy. We're going to bust out the sundresses. The convertible tops are going to be...
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.